Welcome to Ion Radio. I'm John.
And I'm Ken.
And today we're going to be playing Star Wars Shatterpoint.
That's right. Today is going to be our Learn to Play battle report so that you guys at home can kind of learn how the game plays and some of the interactions between the characters and abilities.
In this, I'm going to be playing all of the good guys, and Ken is going to be playing the bad guys.
I just really want to play with red lightsabers, John. That's what it's all about. So what we're going to do here for the Learn to Play is play through pretty much the first struggle, get an opportunity to see all the abilities, interactions, and how some of these characters work in the field of battle.
Yep, so big shout out and thank you to AMG who sent us this as a review copy, allowing us to get you this content when we do. If you're interested in finding out the rules and how to assemble your miniatures, there's a link down below in our description that you can click to get you right to the free downloadable rules and how to make the models.
We also want to let you know that today we are playing on the Desolute Dunes map from Skirmish Maps, so you'll get an opportunity to see that as well on the battlefield.
You can check that out with the link down below.
All right, let's get a look at all of our characters, our armies, the battlefield, and then to the action.
Each player brings a strike team when they play the game. A strike team consists of 2 squads. Each squad consists of exactly 1 primary unit, 1 secondary unit, and 1 supporting unit. The secondary and supporting units must share the same era as the primary unit and have a combined point cost that does not exceed the squad point value of the primary unit. With these strike teams, John has a force pool of 7, and Ken has a force pool of 6. To determine who will start the game, each player will roll 5 attack dice. The player with the most critical results is the first player. John rolls 1 crit, 1 strike, 1 expertise, and 2 failures. Ken rolls 2 strikes, 1 expertise, and 2 failures. John will be the first player. When creating the mission deck, each phase is shuffled individually. 1 card is drawn from each deck and placed face down in order with phase 3 on the bottom, then phase 2, then phase 1. To deploy a squad, a player will put 1 character from the primary unit in one of their squads within range 2 of the battlefield edge. In this example, we will place Anakin Skywalker at distance 2 from the edge of the board. You then will place all remaining characters from primary, secondary, and supporting units in the squad within range 1 of the deployed primary character. The side of each of the range tools is range 1. You can also use the shove tool, as this is also range 1. The struggle tracker is the primary indication of how well you are doing in the game. During the course of a game, when a unit becomes wounded, the opposing player would gain a momentum token. So, if one of these characters was wounded, this side would gain a momentum token. At the end of the turn, you will score points on the struggle tracker based on the number of objective points you control. Let's assume The Asajj Ventress player has scored 4 objective points. This would move 4 in her direction. In the following turn, the player with Anakin scores only 1 objective point, moving the token 1 closer to his side. Because the struggle token remains on their opponent's half of the struggle tracker, the active player, in this case Anakin, would gain a momentum token. During the next turn, Asajj Ventress scores an additional 4 objective points, and when the struggle token would occupy the same space as a player's momentum token, that player wins the struggle.
Here we go, into the game actual. So we've already discussed on setting up terrain and objectives and missions, and we're playing recon enemy positions because I'm first player. It's deployed according to my player edge. We've both placed down our units, and we're going to get into the first turn actual. So we go over to our deck, and I flip over first the 501st Clone Troopers. So we're going to go ahead and use them. Having drawn the 501st Clone Troopers, I have to activate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by using one of their abilities called Defensive Maneuvers. Each character in this unit may do a dash. If any characters dash, they gain a hunker token. That costs me 1 of my force points. So we're going to move first with this guy, with the smaller of the 2 movement tools. He can move all the way up to here. And then his friend is going to swing around here to cover this point. Then they gain the hunker token. The hunker token gets placed onto their unit card. This token will affect all characters in this unit. Now, as their first action, they're going to do a move. Because they're not engaged with anyone, they can do a full advance, which is the larger tool. So I'm only going to do an advance with the front guy, moving him here to get onto that other point. Now, as their final action, we're going to take cover, and we're going to be doing a shove with them, and after doing the shove, we're going to be taking another hunker. So this guy is going to shove forward to there, and this guy over here is going to shove to try to gain cover behind those crates, gaining an additional hunker token, leaving me now with 2 hunker tokens. At the end of the turn, we will claim objectives. Now we're going to check to see if I'm in range of these objective tokens, which means I have to be in distance 2, which both these units are. Because I have both of these, we place, for me, the blue token next to them, showing that I have them. This being the first turn, nothing will be changing on the struggle tracker.
First activation on my side of the table. We're going to flip our Shatterpoint card. And I showcase Kalani. So Kalani will be the one to activate. You'll note there is a symbol here. That is the tactic symbol, reminding me that Kalani has an ability to use at the start of his activation.
Kalani's Roger Roger. At the start of this unit's activation, each allied battle droid's supporting character within range 4 of a character in this unit may dash.
So let's go ahead and move our Roger Roger battle droids. So we're going to move this one. We're using the dash tool. Up front here. And the other one we're going to try and move behind these crates. Now that Kalani is done with his tactics order, we're going to take our first action. We're going to take a move action, and we're going to wind up moving alongside the ladder. Now ordinarily you can climb, but you're only allowed to use the dash ruler, and that would not put Kalani completely on top of the terrain. So we make our move. We are now within range 1 of the terrain, allowing him to go up for free and be placed at range 1 of the ladder. For my second action, I'm going to take cover, which will allow me to move forward 1, and I gain my hunker token being put on his unit card. We are now within range 2 of that objective point and will gain control of the center objective. On this side, both of my battle droids are clearly within range 2 of this objective point, and I get to claim this one as well. Since I now control 2 of the objective points, I will score 1 for each, moving the struggle token 2 towards my side of the board.
Back to my turn. I reveal Anakin Skywalker. And looking at the board state, I've decided I don't want to activate him yet. So I'm going to put him into reserve. And by doing that, I have to spend a force point. Then I have to activate the next card that's revealed, which is Bo-Katan. And she has the reminder that she has a tactics. So let's start off with Bo-Katan's tactics, which is Pride of Mandalore. At the start of this unit's activation, choose another allied Mandalorian character. The chosen character may jump. So we're going to pick this Mandalorian character, who's one of the Clan Kree's Mandalorians. And they're going to do a jump forward. The jump is done with the dash tool. Right to there. Now for her first action, she's going to do a move, which will be done with the advanced tool because she needs to get down range. Now, Bo-Katan triggers her Mandalorians are stronger together, which says after this unit makes a move action, it may use this ability. If a character in this unit is within 2 of another allied Mandalorian character, this unit may immediately take a focus action. Then, after that, you can trigger Mandalore will survive. After this unit makes a focus action, which I just did, one character in this unit, which is herself, may make a dash and heal 2. I can't heal, but we're going to use the dash. The dash will make us land right next to this ladder, and we will move to the top of the ladder. So we get to move to the top of the ladder, and 1 away from the ladder places us right here. So, for our last action, we're going to be shooting. So let's walk through the steps of making an attack. First, we declare an attack. This is going to be a ranged attack. Then we choose eligible targets that are in range. So Bo-Katan's ranged attack is distance 4. So while I have multiple targets, I'm going to select the B ones that are behind the crates. Now we draw a line of sight. Because Bo-Katan is of a higher height, we're going to ignore that cover because I'm shooting down. That is one of the advantages of having the high ground. So let's move on to gathering dice and rolling them. Bo-Katan's card's ranged attack is 6 dice. So we start with 6 dice. Then, because she had a focus action earlier, she gets to add a dice to the roll. So we're going to be rolling in 7 attack dice. As you see here, we have a crit, 3 hits, an offensive expertise, and 2 failures.
We now roll the defense dice. On ranged attacks, battle droids will roll 4 defense dice. If they had cover, they would roll an extra die. My battle droids have rolled 2 dodges, a defensive expertise, and 1 failure.
So now we move on to the modify the dice rolls, and that goes to the player that's attacking first. So Bo-Katan has 1 offensive expertise, and according to her chart, her blaster pistols will convert that into a hit.
Battle droids, while defending, have occupation protocols. Unfortunately, with only one defensive expertise, they do not gain anything.
So now we move on to determining results. And for each block that was rolled, we remove one hit. Criticals cannot be removed this way.
So in this case, these two dodges will remove 2 strikes.
Then we count how many crits and hits are left in the pool. There is 2 hits and 1 crit, giving Bo-Katan 3 successes to use on her attack tree. The first one adds 2 damage to the damage pool. Then you have the choice. Do you go up or down on the tree? I'm going to go up on the tree, which adds an additional hit and a pin token. The pin token would go onto the B1 Battle Droid's cards. Then, because we are on the top of the tree, we have to continue down that path. The next is 2 more damage, for a total of 5 damage in the damage pool.
So now we're applying the damage pool. B1 battle droids, they hate this job, so while they are contesting one or more active objectives, which they are doing, they gain protection. This allows me to remove 1 of the 5 damage from the pool, and then I will suffer the remaining 4.
At this point, you would resolve the rest of the effects, which would include special things that are on the attacker expertise chart, special things that are on the defender expertise chart, or special abilities that resolve. And that concludes an attack, and Bo-Katan's turn. Bo-Katan now has control over this point. She's pretty much standing on top of it. These clone troopers still have control over these 2 points. With 3 points controlled, I move the control point 3 to my side. 1, 2, 3. Because it ends on my side and not Ken's, I do not gain any momentum, leaving me on 1 on my side.
My second activation here will be the Mandalorian Super Commandos. So let's get started with our first action, and we are going to move them forward. So here's the advance. The first one, moving here. Second one, moving up here. Now, similar to the Mandalorians on the opposing side, they're stronger when they're together. I'm within range 2 of another Mandalorian, so they both make a focus action. Second action is going to be an attack. So we're going to attempt to attack the clone trooper standing behind here. We're using ranged attacks because we are not within melee distance, and I am easily within range 4 from both characters. Now, my attack ranged starts with 5 dice. I will gain 1 extra one for the focus. I have 3 strikes, 1 offensive expertise, and 2 failures.
The 501st Clone Troopers, defense on ranged is 5. We have cover because of the crates, and we have 2 hunker tokens, which increase our cover as well, getting us all the way up to 8 total dice. We only have 6, so we're going to have to re-roll some. We have gotten 3 blocks, 1 expertise, and 4 failures.
On to modifying dice.
the Mandalorian Super Commando's West Star 35 blaster pistol with 1 expertise changes the expertise into a strike.
Phase 2 clone armor changes the expertise into a block. So the clones manage with cover to block out all the damage.
Fortunately, we have 2 characters in this unit. We get to make a second attack.
So 1 crit, 3 strikes, an offensive expertise, and 1 failure.
Same amount of dice for the clone troopers. So the clone troopers rolled a total of 6 expertise and 2 failures on their 8 dice.
So my blaster pistols, once again, my offensive expertise, become a strike.
The clone phase 2 armor, all 6 of those expertise, because their bracket is 3+, will change out for 2 blocks.
So the attack includes 4 strikes and a critical to John's 2 blocks.
The 2 blocks take out 2 strikes, leaving Ken with 3 successes.
So here we go with our attack and figuring out what we have in the damage pool. I'm going to start with the double damage. Moving into the combat tree, we're going to go to the right, which adds an additional damage and a strained token to the 501st Clone Troopers. I'm then going to move down the tree where I get a jump and add 1 additional damage to the damage pool.
Alright, so let's go ahead and jump. And this commando is now over here in contesting that point. We're also now engaged with the clone trooper, forcing him to lose all of his hunker tokens.
The 4 damage that are in the damage pool get applied to the clone troopers. Neither of us have any effects after that. And it concludes the attacks.
This objective point is currently contested by both me and John. Since we only have 1 character each at the same elevation, the point remains in his control.
The point that Kalani has is still under my control.
And the battle droids still control this objective point. This will move the struggle tracker 2 in my favor. I am still on my side of the board.
Next activation. The Shatterpoint card. At this point, I have a decision to make. I can use the Shatterpoint card to activate any character unit on the board. Because I already have Anakin in reserve, I think I'm going to go with Anakin, knowing that later on when I need Anakin, I can pull him out of reserve to activate him again. So let's activate Anakin. Anakin is going to start off by doing a move which he's going to advance. Next, Anakin is going to use Force Jump by spending a Force Point. And this will allow him to do a jump. This lands him right next to the ladder, and he can move all the way up on top with distance 1 from the ladder. So now this is going to be close. Let's check range to Kalani.
Alright, checking the range. And Kalani and Anakin are now in melee combat.
So Anakin started the game in Form 5 Xian. Before I decide to make an attack, I get to change my form once per turn. So Anakin is going to flip over to Form 5 Jijem So, because that is the harder hitting of Anakin's abilities. Anakin's attack is 8 dice for melee. Anakin rolled pretty well. He gets 2 crits, 5 hits, and an expertise.
Let's roll the 3 defense dice for melee that Kalani has. And I have 1 of each. 1 block, 1 expertise, and 1 failure.
Anakin's lightsaber says that the 1 expertise changes into a crit.
Kalani's expertise, this is self-preservation, changes his expertise into a block.
With 2 blocks, 2 strikes get removed, leaving me with a total of 6 successes, which will get me all the way through my combat tree. So going down the tree, Anakin starts off with this heavy hitter with 3 damage. Then his next is 2 damage. The next is 2 damage and a strain. Then we're going to go down the path, and it's going to be a damage and a pin. Then it's going to be a damage and a shove. So to do a shove, you can use the maneuver tools to make the zone at which a character can be shoved. Then you move them distance 1. After that, the player that shoves can do a follow-up. Same thing with this, I have to land inside of that cone. Anakin's positioning himself forward to take on whoever the CIS sends his way. The last is going to be a damage and a reposition, which will allow the character to do a full advance. I don't think I want Anakin to do a full advance, but I do want him to move far enough forward that he remains engaged with Kalani and at distance 2 of this control point. Like so.
So Kalani will now suffer all 10 damage points. This is sufficient to wound Kalani.
Because Kalani is wounded, 1 momentum cube covers the 7 on my side of the struggle tracker. Now, we're going to resolve Anakin's effects. This is where the fun begins. When a character in this unit, so Anakin, wounds an enemy primary or secondary unit, Kalani is a secondary unit. After the effect is resolved, move the struggle token 1 place towards your momentum cubes. So that puts it onto the 0 now. Then, if the wounded unit is a primary unit, each Galactic Republic character may heal. He's not a primary, so I do not get to heal. Now we're going to move into the end, and Anakin is now the only person on this center objective, switching it over to the light side. At the end of this turn, the Galactic Republic controls 4 points, moving the cube 4 towards my side, leaving it on my side on the 4.
Turning over the next order card, and I show the B1 battle droids. I'm going to go ahead and activate them, and my first action is going to be in advance. Note that this unit is currently pinned. This means when I make my first movement, this set of troopers, they cannot move and the pinned condition goes away. I can, however, move the next character. So this set of battle droids will go all the way up to the wall. For the second action, I'm going to make an attack. Let's make the attack. First, let's check some ranges. I am within range 5 of Anakin Skywalker, and since my battle droids are making a ranged attack and have a range of 5, I can do that. Let's take a look at the dice pool. B1 battle droids fire their E5 blaster rifles with 7 attack dice. I've rolled 1 crit, 5 strikes, and 1 failure.
Anakin Skywalker will be rolling 5 defense for his range. Plus, because I'm at a higher elevation on terrain, I will get cover, so a total of 6 dice. Anakin rolls 1 block, 3 defensive expertise, and 2 failures.
I have no expertise on offensively. John, what do you have defensively?
Anakin, for 3 expertise, adds in 2 blocks, and converts one of the crits into a hit.
That leaves us with 6 strikes to your 3 blocks.
The 3 blocks take out 3 strikes,
leaving me with 3 successes to go down the combat tree. First step is 1 damage, then 1 damage, and I may reposition. All right, my repositioning, here's my advance. I'm going to go around the side of the building, which will then allow me to move up to the middle section. I can stay at range 1. And then we continue the attack. The third option is 2 more damage and an exposed token for Anakin, leaving me with 4 total damage to resolve.
The 4 damage go on to Anakin, and Anakin, as long as Ken doesn't have any more abilities, will trigger a special ability of his own. So Anakin is going to trigger a reactionary deflect. After a ranged attack, targeting a character in this unit, so Anakin is resolved. This unit may use this ability. If the attack contained 1 or more failures, the attacking unit suffers 2 damage.
Alright, so now I get to attack with my second set of battle droids. We're still within range 5, so here are my 7 dice. I have 1 crit, 3 strikes, 2 offensive expertise, and a failure.
Anakin rolls in 5 dice, plus 1 because of cover, for 6 total defense dice. Anakin rolls in 3 blocks, a expertise, and 2 failures.
Modifying my dice here, I have 2 successes. That will convert into 1 strike.
Because Anakin's exposed, he can't use expertise, and this is discarded. I remove 3 from Ken's pool, and I will then lose the exposed token.
That leaves me with 2 successes to go down the combat tree. Alright, so first option puts 1 damage on Anakin. Second option, another damage, and I can reposition. So I'm going to go ahead and make my advance. All right, we are going to move in such a way I am, again, right up alongside this wall.
Anakin suffers the 2 damage in the pool. He cannot re-trigger deflect because he's already used his ability once this turn. Anakin now has 6 total damage on his card.
So at the end of my activation, I have both of my battle droid units within range 2 of the objective token. However, as Bo-Katan, who's on John's side, is the only one at the same elevation, I am unable to contest it or change who controls that token. This token is still controlled by me, although there are none of my units nearby. Change only occurs when an opposing character is within range 2. I will now move the struggle token 1 closer to my side. As the control token is still on John's side of the struggle tracker, I will gain 1 momentum, covering up the 7 on my side.
Captain Rex was pulled. He has a tactics. Get a move on soldier. At the start of this unit's activation, choose a character in this unit or another allied Galactic Republic character. The chosen character may dash and then gain a hunker. He sees these clone troopers being harassed by the Mandalorian and has decided to give it to himself. So he's going to dash under this to here, gaining a hunker token. Now, he's going to use his ability Defensive Maneuver. Each character in this unit may do a dash. If characters dash, they gain a hunker token. This will cost me a force point. So Rex has done that without actually using any of his actions. So now what he's going to do is he's going to perform a heal action. A heal action says the affected character may remove one condition or one damage from its unit or another ally unit within range 2. Rex is here to help out his clone bros, and he will remove the strain from the 501st Clone Troopers. While healing his friends, is now going to aim downfield at those pesky Mandalorians. He can shoot distance 5, but he's going to target the closer one with an attack. Okay, so let's make this attack. And when I do that, the 501st Clone Troopers will be able to trigger one of their reactions. Now that they don't have strain, they won't take the strain damage. Rex was thinking ahead here. It is coordinated fire. Coordinated fire costs me a strain, so they gain the strain back. When a character in another Allied Galactic Republic unit makes an attack as part of the combat action, before dice are rolled, this unit may use this ability. If the targeted character is within 5 of a character in this unit, which is the clone, which is clearly 5, we're practically touching, the target immediately gains a strain token. Now Rex is going to make his attack. His ranged attack is 7 attack dice. Rex has rolled 2 crits, 4 hits, and an expertise.
The Mandalorian Super Commandos, 4 dice for defense. Incredible roll here. I have 4 defensive expertise.
Rex with 1 offensive expertise with his D17 blaster pistols will add in 2 hits.
And at 4 expertise, the Beskar armor only gets me 2 dodges. 2 dodges will remove 2 of John's strikes.
That leaves me with 6 successes, which will get me all the way down my tree. So let's take a look at that. We're going to start off going the lower portion of Rex's attack tree. The first one is a damage and a shove. We're going to shove this character back to there. And then Rex is going to take a step forward. The second is another damage and an additional shove. So we're going to continue to shove this character backwards. Rex will not follow up. The third is 2 heals. Because you can use this on yourself or another unit within distance 2, Rex is going to heal with the first heal, the strain, and with the second heal, we'll heal a damage off the clones. Next, he will give a pin token to the Mandalorians and another damage. Then the final step is a damage and reposition, which he chooses not to do. For a total of 4 damage to the Mandalorians' Super Commandos. That will end Rex's turn, and I control 4 command points. Moving 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have met my momentum and win this struggle.
All right, so John has won the first struggle. That has him take the card. We will reset the struggle tracker. The struggle token goes back to 0, and we reset the momentum tracker with 1 on each of the 8s. And then we flip over the next objective card.
The title of the second struggle is We've Been Double-Crossed. The objective card faces the player that is player 1, like this, and Ken gets to decide on which of those he would like to do because I won the last struggle.
I'm going to choose this one only because this is going to be the best one. So I'm selecting the one closest to John in terms of how to change it. So John and I are going to swap what the objective points, which objective points are currently active. Double cross indeed, as John pretty much can control 2 of these without too much difficulty.
Okay, so we finished the first struggle. I feel like we've gone through pretty much all of the rules that you would need to start playing Star Wars Shatterpoint.
That's right, and if you guys are interested to see, well, we saw enough to the first struggle, what happens next? Stay tuned, we have an upcoming battle report that's going to go all the way to the end of this game.
If you're interested in finding out the rules and how to assemble your miniatures, there's a link down below in our description that you can click to get you right to the free downloadable rules and how to make the models.
And we're just going to do a quick shout out to Atomic Mass Games. Thank you for sending us this review copy. That's how we were able to do the Learn to Play and a couple of our battle reports already.
If you liked our awesome mat that we use, Desolute Dunes, check out the link down below, Skirmish Mats.
And finally, if you enjoyed the content and want to help us do more, check out our Patreon. The link is down below. We really appreciate all of our current members.
Thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment, like the video, spread it to your friends.
And until next time, I'm Ken.
I'm John.
And this is Ion Radio.